underneath the shade of those trees, you're going to see some massive horns up there, and those are the horns of a collie cattle, also often referred to as Watusi, after people who domesticated them, and they are some of the only domesticated animals we have out here on the reserve. Their horns grow to be about 6 to 8 feet tip to tip. Now on the inside they're almost totally hollow, but they do have a honeycomb-like structure that blood vessels run through. So that way they can actually circulate their blood through their horns when they get overheated, and this will help to cool off their entire body. Now, we should be able to see some of these prehensile tongues in action, especially out here to the left-hand side. We will see it trying to grab those lower lying leaves and branches, and they are pretty determined when they set their mind on a leaf. They're not going to give it up until they have it in their mouth.
Mira, ¿saben cómo comen?
And we'll see one out to the right-hand side, too. We have lots of members out here who've come to greet us. And we got some wildebeest out there pretty close as well.
Pero ella todo el tiempo está diciendo que hay que tener lista la cámara porque en cualquier momento pueden aparecer animales.
Looks like way out there on the hill to the left, we're going to see some mandrills. In fact, let's move on a little bit closer here as well. Mandrills are the largest of the monkey species, but they're both terrestrial and arboreal, spending time on land and up in the trees, which is different than most monkeys who spend a majority of their time up in the trees.
¿Sí lo viste?
Looks like after the right-hand side here, we're going to see an African elephant right past here. Now, African elephants have big old ears that actually kind of resemble the continent of Africa, which is pretty convenient as we try to help them from other kinds of elephants. And they can actually flap their ears back and forth, and that will send the breeze over their big ears. And that will help to cool their body off. They can actually let this sit right on top of their ears, cooling off their entire body up to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. As we come around this corner, we're approaching some red clay pits. Now keep an eye out for any tusk marks you may see in this red clay. Sometimes African elephants bleed to get vitamins and nutrients they may not receive in their regular daily diet. So if they've snacked on it recently, we'll see their tusk marks, and hopefully they're still up ahead for us to catch a glimpse of. It looks like there's going to be some out here on the left, and definitely over there to the right-hand side. I'm seeing some pretty big footprints leading this way. Oh, looks like we have an African elephant right out here to the left-hand side. Now, African elephants live in a matriarchal society, which means that it is a female, and it's usually that eldest female is the one who will be leading the herd. Now, when males are born, they stay with their moms until they are mature. That's about 12 to 15 years of age. Now, once they are mature, they will do one of two things. They will either join small bachelor groups, which are just really small groups of all male African elephants, or sometimes they'll just go off on their own to be solitary bulls, so just them by themselves. But if you ever see a big group of African elephants like we're seeing out here to the left-hand side, it's most likely majority female. Now, that matriarch, that female lead, has a very important job. She leads the herd everywhere they have ever been and will go. Now, she maps this all out in her mind. So she'll map out good pathways, maybe like where the most frequently filled watering holes are. Maybe she'll remember bad pathways where dangers lie and that they should not be going there. Or she may also remember these baobab trees, these trees of life, because they can puncture them with their tusks and that will grant them access into the water that is stored inside the spongy bark of the baobab. Now, African elephants have very sensitive skin. They can actually use their prehensile trunks to grab mud and dirt. They'll throw this onto their back to make kind of like a natural sunscreen for themselves so they do not get a sunburn. Now, their prehensile trunks also come in handy while they're putting water and food into their mouths. They can grab that and put that into their mouths, and their trunks can actually hold up to 5 gallons of water at a time. Now, it looks like out to the left-hand side here, we're going to be seeing some greater flamingos. Now, greater flamingos are not naturally white in color, but they will turn pink because of the shrimp that they eat. Now that it's brine shrimp, and it contains something within it called beta-carotene. And once they absorb it, they will turn that pink hue that we know and love them for. Now, perhaps my favorite fact about the greater flamingo is that a group of them is known as a flamboyance.
Divino, sí.
Looks like off to the left-hand side here, we're going to be seeing a pretty deep mud pit out there. Now, if we're lucky, we'll see some of the animals who've recently been enjoying it. That will be white rhinos. Now, the two kinds of rhinos we have out here on the reserve, they're pretty massive. They're the bigger of the two. They weigh around 5,000 pounds. Now, they can do a really good job of blending into their natural surroundings despite their large size. So if we don't see them out and playing, we'll see if we can spot any as well. Now, these are going to be really tough to spot, but way up there, look past all these trees, look towards like that brown kind of brush out there. There are going to be two cheetahs lying up on the hill. They kind of look like logs up there, but they are cheetahs. Now, they're the fastest land mammals on Earth. They can run at speeds up to 70 miles per hour, and they can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. Now, cheetahs are different than most big cats because most big cats hunt at night, but cheetahs hunt during the day. It's something that'll help them under the black spots that surround their eyes. They make kind of like a natural pair of sunglasses for them to keep the glare of the sun from getting into their eyes. Now, it looks like coming up to the left-hand side here, we're going to be seeing some water bucks. Now, water bucks are known for their heart-shaped noses and the white circles that run around their rumps. Now, those white circles will actually help their babies to find their moms in the middle of the night. Now, this is because the moonlight will reflect off of them, and it's a good indicator of where they are. Now, they're mostly sedentary creatures, as their name states. They need lots of water, so they don't want to stray too far from a steady water source. Now, this is called a copy rock formation out on the left, and there are some predators who rest up here during the day to keep an eye on the prey below. If we're lucky, we'll catch a glimpse at some. It might be a little too sunny for them to be out. Not sure, they might be seeking some shade elsewhere, but we have some pretty cool other animals to look at as well. Now, to the right-hand side of our truck, we are going to be seeing a bantabak. Now, at one point in time, there are only 17 of these left in the entire world. An African farmer noticed this and fenced them in, which allowed them to repopulate, but their population today still dwindles. There are less than 5,000 in the world, and most are in captivity. Now, we're very lucky to have our one and only bantabak here on the reserve, because he serves as a reminder of just how hard we need to fight for conservation, so animals like him can thrive in the wild. And it does look like we found those white rhinos back out there to the right-hand side. We should be able to catch another glimpse of them once we come around this corner. Now, to the left-hand side, we will be seeing a male lion resting up on this Kobe rock formation. Now, lions will rest here for about 16 to 20 hours of their day in order to conserve their energy for the hunt that takes place at night. Now, it is the lionesses, the female lions, who will do a majority of hunting for the pride, initiating about 85% of all hunting activity that is taken by them. Now, it looks like to the left-hand side here, we're going to be seeing some warthogs out and about. Now, warthogs are a lot smarter than most people give them credit for. Now, this is because they will actually base their feeding activity on those of the predators that hunt around them. So just for example, if those predators are out really early in the morning, these warthogs won't be out really early in the morning. They will be hiding so they don't become prey. And that kind of adaptive behavior is actually help save their species from becoming endangered. Now, we'll see these white rhinos again to the right-hand side. Now, white rhinos are named after the Afrikaans word V-I-T, which means wide. And that refers to their wide lip shape. It's kind of square, rectangular, compared to the black rhino that has more of a hook-shaped lip. Now, also compared to the black rhino, they are a bit more social, and they are heavier, weigh around 5,000 pounds, as I mentioned earlier. Now, white rhinos have terrible eyesight. They can only see about 10 feet in front of them, which is probably why a group of them is known as a crash. However, white rhinos do have fantastic hearing to make up for their terrible eyesight, and they'll gauge how far away things are based on how far away they sound. spotted the warden's post, which is at the edge of our reserve, so that just signals me that our journey will be coming to a close here shortly. Now, as we pass by the warden's yard, it looks like we're going to get a glimpse of some of the Nigerian dwarf goats that the warden has recently been raising out and about in the yard here. Now, these Nigerian dwarf goats are a sustainable and cost-effective way that the warden can help provide for the local village's food supply. They will give a rich goat's milk to the villagers and later on protein as well. Now, they are some of nature's best lawnmowers. They're going to keep the warden's yard looking pretty spiffy because they eat just about everything that grows out of the ground.
Sí. Sí.
Now, just because our journey out here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve is coming to a close, that does not mean our fight for conservation needs to stop here. There are plenty of things that you can do from your own homes that are fairly simple in order to protect the animals that we know and love so they can thrive out in the wild. Now, for animals on land, we can use a less paper and make sure we recycle the paper we do use in order to protect the trees that build up their natural habitats and homes, like the animals we saw earlier, and also protect the vegetation that many animals eat from day to day. Now, for animals in bodies of water, like oceans, lakes, streams, or rivers, like the Safi River, where we saw those Nile hippos and crocodiles earlier, we can use less single-use plastics like straws and plastic bags to keep their waterways clean. Now, if we encourage ourselves, our friends, our families to do the most we can to reduce, reuse, and recycle, these very simple things can all add up. We all play our part, and we'll help protect this beautiful earth that we live on, so ourselves and future generations, and as well as these awesome animals we got to spend time with out on the reserve, so they can thrive on this awesome planet. Now, for any wilderness explorers on board today, you are riding on the Simba 1. That is the Simba 1. And you will fill this into page 14 of your guidebook. Now, here in Harambe, we don't like to say goodbye. It is far too sad and far too final. So instead, we like to say Kwaherini, which means to go well. So I would like to wish you all Kwaherini, and thank you so much for touring the Kilimanjaro Safaris today. Once again, my name is Shaylin, and it has been a pleasure being your safari guide. Now, wherever your next adventures take you, whether they're here at Disney's Animal Kingdom or elsewhere, I hope that those adventures treat you well, and that you go